Good evening.
Good evening.
It's good that you're able to come and join with us this evening. Just before we start, this evening we're going to be thinking about what the things that we're grateful for. I know perhaps these past few weeks have been quite difficult for you. And so if there is something that you want to just thank God for this evening, if you can put it up in the comments, and we will try our best to keep an eye on what you're saying. I've already had a couple, but if there's just anything that you want to say thank you for this evening, if you write it in the comments, and we'll do our best to jot that
We
down.
will indeed.
Between us, we'll try and keep that going. Okay. Announcements. Sergeant Major.
For anybody in Buckie, you can have your cup of tea at any point during the meeting. Just remember to come back and enjoy the rest of the meeting with us. That's always the most important announcement for Buckie, that you can have a cup of tea. Usually then, when we were meeting together in the hall, it was at the end of the meeting, but you can have your cup of tea whenever you feel like it now. That's fantastic. Okay. Announcements for this week. What have we been up to? Well, toddler group on Monday.
Yeah, we had quite a few again.
We did, indeed.
Food parcels on Tuesday.
Yes. That we quickly skimmed over the toddlers there because
sorry.
it was one of those days, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know what was up last
Trying
Monday.
to remember the words that we were supposed to be singing, or the tunes we were supposed to be singing.
There's too many of them. They sing to the same tune or tune that's very similar to it.
I think it's just cabin fever.
Do you think so?
I think so.
Yes, well, okay.
It was very interesting on Monday. So, yeah, somehow we managed to get through that, and I think none of the children have been scarred as a result.
No. And we've had a few videos and pictures through.
We have indeed.
Yeah,
and that's always
that's
entertaining. I am threatening to actually show you some of what we do some Sunday, and I'm sure at some point I'm going to have to do that. Yeah. So we've got that again tomorrow morning at 9:45, and we're looking forward to that. They've been a bit slow getting the requests in this week so far. I think we've got about 6 or 7, but no doubt we'll be up to about 15 or 16 again by the time we start tomorrow. It was a busy week on Tuesday, and it kind of has carried on again this week. We've had, I think, 60 people that we've helped.
Yeah.
27 food parcels have gone out this week, and 60 people have been helped as a result of that. But we also had something else yesterday.
Yesterday?
Aye, it's a long time ago.
What did we do yesterday?
Yesterday morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How could I forget that? We were in the hall yesterday morning. It's strange being in the hall.
It was.
And we were making up packages, to just little bags to put out to the children from Findochty School, something to help them in the coming days. So any of the kids from Findochty School watching in the next few days or the next week or so, hopefully you'll get a parcel with one or two things to keep you going.
There's just one item waiting to be delivered before we can actually put the parcels round everyone. So that kept us busy yesterday morning. Isabel was able to catch up with somebody she went to school with all those donkeys of years ago when she was at Findochty with her mum and dad, and he was helping out to pack the parcels with me. The two of us were working like Trojans, and the three women were talking. And Isabel says they were putting the pens together as well that are going out. She reckoned they were multitasking. I'm not sure if that's what Isabel's doing now.
I am multitasking. I'm just doing this down.
Writing all these blessings down. Oh my goodness.
Oh
Aha.
Okay, I've roughly got that one down.
You're going to manage that, are you?
Well, I think so. You'll just have to keep the singing going because I'm watching this.
Our thoughts this week have been very much with Adam and Lauren Smith. Adam's dad passed away last Sunday, and we conducted the funeral on Friday. Adam and Lauren, along with Miles and Macy, come to Macy Church and have been very faithful in coming to that. And it was an honour to conduct the service, but it was also a very strange experience for us. Not being able to comfort people in the way that perhaps we would have wanted to. But we pray that God will bless them in these coming days as well.
Yeah.
And some other news?
Eunice, yes, one of our adherents from the corps here, Eunice, and I know our brother Magnus is watching this evening. Eunice is home from hospital, but just keep her in your prayers. She is far from well, but we just thank God that she's back home. That is something that we can just thank God for, and we're able to be in touch with her. And I spoke with her this afternoon, and she is happy to be at home, and grateful for those who have kept her in their prayers at this time.
Yeah, good.
Okay. And I have had a request for another song, so that's okay. So we'll slot that in somewhere. Yeah.
You'll be playing that one.
Okay. If you've got your songbook, I know that one or two of you do. It's song number 39, and trying to think about being joyful and being happy in all circumstances. Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, hail thee as the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the clouds of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with the light of day.
Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, hail thee as the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the clouds of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with the light of day. All thy birds with joy surround the earth, and happily fled thy wings. Stars and angels sing around thee, center of unbroken praise. Field and forest, vale and mountain, blossoming meadow, flashing sea, chanting bird and flowing fountain, call us to rejoice in thee. Thou art giving and forgiving, ever blessing, ever blessed. Wellspring of the joy of living, ocean depth of happiness. God the Father, Christ the brother, all who live in love abide. Teach us all to love each other, lift us to the joy divine. March of joy, the mighty chorus, which the morning stars began. Father, love is reigning o'er us, brother, love binds man to man. Ever singing, march we onward, victors in the midst of strife. Joyful music lifts us onward in the triumph song of life. And as we prepare for prayer, I'm going to read from Psalm 100. Psalm 100. Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. Amen. So at the start of our time together, let's come before God in prayer. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, as we bow before you this evening, we thank you because we can know that your faithfulness lasts through all generations. We can rely upon you as our fathers, our forefathers relied upon you. We can rely upon you because you are the faithful God. And as we bow before you this evening, we thank you, Lord, because there are many, many times when we have been able to prove that you are that faithful God. Lord, this evening, as we gather like this, we thank you because we are given this opportunity. We thank you, Lord, because we can meet and be as one in your name. That our brothers and sisters, wherever they are in the world, just at this moment, are meeting together with us, and more importantly, meeting together with you. Lord, may your name be glorified. May your name be lifted up. And may we rejoice because we've been able to spend this time together. Lord, I thank you for each person who's gathered with us this evening. May your blessings be upon them, and may your glory shine through their lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
It's good to see all these people joining with us, isn't it?
It is indeed, yes.
And, we've got a few Christines watching here tonight.
We certainly do. Well, it's one of the problems when things start scrolling up, and we've got to try and get a message to each other as to who is who. Christine is one particular difficulty because not only do we have...
I've just seen...
There's Christine Cow joined in as well.
Yes, so, I've just seen that.
Not only do we have a number of people called Christine, but also we can have a situation where we have Auntie Christine to two different generations. When we speak to our children, Auntie Christine is my sister, but I will speak of Auntie Christine as Christine. Yes. So we have to then try and figure out how we're going to differentiate them.
Yes.
It could be on their height.
Yes.
Tall Christine, small Christine.
Could be.
It could be on their age, but I think you get a bit
touchy about age.
It could be about Christine wearing white socks.
Well, that's it. You just don't know.
It could indeed.
Indeed it could.
The other problem we have is when two people with exactly the same name show up.
Yes.
I'm never quite sure which Neil Smith it's going to be.
I know. Well, that's it, you see.
Yes.
Because there's Neil Smith in America.
There is.
But there's also Cousin Neil.
There's Cousin Neil Smith as well.
Yeah, and he's been watching.
And he's a bit of a troublemaker.
He certainly is a troublemaker.
But it's good to have him with us.
Yes, it is, indeed. Anyway, so welcome everybody. You're all welcome here.
Whatever your name is.
Yeah. Maybe we should give everybody different names and then we'll be able to tell the difference. But this evening, over the past few weeks, we've been talking about the different appointments that we've been at. Now, somebody in the comments has asked if we could sing this next song. So before we talk about Findochty, we're going to sing this song.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
And it's 451. Now, not only is it a great favourite at Findochty, it is a great favourite at Bucky as well.
It is.
I can't remember the words to the bit that you add on, so you'll just need to sing that at home on your own, okay?
It's a win-win for us, isn't it?
It is a win-win for us.
Both core like it.
Both core love it.
That's good.
So it's, would you be free from your burden of sin? There's power in the blood. Would you o'er evil a victory win? There's wonderful power in the blood. This is your bonus for this evening, and Magnus has asked if we would sing this evening. So we're going to do our best for you, Magnus, and I hope that you will be blessed by the words as well, and the singing, well, however well we manage it. So I'll just need to work out what key we're going to sing it in so that it's not too high. Okay. Would you be free from your burden of sin? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Would you believe that victory win? There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Would you be free from your passion and pride? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Come and find cleansing to cover his tide. There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, wonder-working power
Would you be whiter, as whiter than snow? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Sin stains are lost in its life-giving flow. There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Would you do service for Jesus your King? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Would you live daily His praises to sing? There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Very good. Is that Magnus who asked for that?
Magnus asked for that. That's
you.
Eunice's brother. Thank you
very much, Magnus.
Lots of people have just commented on how that is their favourite song, and I know that our folks love singing that one. And Rena's been up singing and dancing, so there we go. And Rose, I see that you want something, and we'll maybe do that a little bit later. Okay.
Oh.
Yes. So, Findochty.
Findochty?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I came to Findochty on my own. It's a long time since I've been to take up my appointment on my own. And Findochty was one such case, because somebody was still in hospital in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came to Findochty plastered.
You certainly did.
Well, I better say why. I went to junior camp and took the kids gorge walking. Wasn't going gorge walking. I thought that would be too much trouble. Maybe it would have been better if I had gone gorge walking. Many of you know that I was recovering from major surgery 6 months previously that I'd had. And I went to walk in. 1 minute I was on my feet and the next minute I was on the ground. And Callum from Stornoway, who was with me, had said, I don't think you should move. I think you've maybe broken that ankle.
Mm-hmm.
The guy called Guy, who was with us, wanted to take the boot off, and Callum was adamant and said, no, you will leave that on, and that probably saved my leg. So huge thank you to Callum. I don't know if Callum's watching, but huge thank you to him. And I don't know, but Ola was the camp medic, and if you want to know any of the stories that I was telling, then you can contact her.
I just cannot imagine what that must have been like for Ola to have to meet up with the ambulance and take you to the hospital in Inverness. I certainly know by the time I managed to get through that she was ready to be Ola, our daughter, again, rather than Ola, the camp medic.
Yes.
But meanwhile, your mum and dad were flying back from Canada.
They were, and I did you out of a free meal.
You certainly did.
Yes.
Yes.
But when we came to Findochty anyway, and the whole house had to be rearranged because I couldn't climb the stairs.
This was our bedroom.
Yes.
We were downstairs in the dining room. It became our bedroom for the first wee while, didn't it?
It did, yeah. And one of the first things that we went to, and we weren't installed yet, and we had planned to be at it anyway, regardless of what had happened, was the Findochty Fair.
It was.
And it was fantastic, especially for my folks to meet lots of the people that they had known from when they were here.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I was perched on a stool at the side of Rosalind's house, and everybody came and had a laugh at me, I think. No, they came to speak to me. But certainly, we've been here now 4 years. It's been a quick 4 years. We've been 3 years at Buckie, 4 years here. And when we were appointed here, Bruce had to take me everywhere in a wheelchair. Very limited to what I could do at the start. But hey, I think everybody knows us in the community now. So there's many people that don't know who we are.
It certainly caused a bit of a stir. The children in the street were amazed the day that you came home from the hospital, got out the car.
Oh yeah, I had gone up for an appointment, and the kids around here had been watching me and could see that I was in a wheelchair. And the day that Bruce drove,
we'd been into the school with you in the wheelchair.
So we come down the street here. Well, no, we come round the round way. They ran all the way after the car. And when I got out, it was, "You can walk!"
Hallelujah!
It's like, you know,
amazing!
I wondered if that was how people reacted when Jesus healed people.
I think it probably was. They were absolutely amazed.
Yes.
They'd never seen you walk.
No, they'd never seen me walking. So it was good. And, the kids now, because of that, they know who we are. And that's been good. And in the community here, we have two meetings on a Sunday. Two different congregations, very much so. And once a month we do Messy Church. So Messy Church went out today.
Messy Church was posted on Friday.
So kids from Findochty, if you're watching, Messy Church is on.
Or Bucky.
Or Macduff, or Elgin,
it's
wherever.
On all four,
it's there.
It's on all four.
So we do
pages.
Messy Church. And the last one before we finished, we must have had about 50 people there, which was fantastic. And we also have Sing and Play on a Monday. And we have a home league, which is great on a Monday night. Great to meet with the women there. And then Wednesday is our art group. And it's good to come to that because it's different, just a totally different people who aren't really connected. Well, they are with the art group, connected to the core. And it's been good to join with them. Not much of an artist, but I quite often take the knitting down and... They all sit and do this if I'm doing the knitting. It's quite funny, or the cross stitch. So we have that. A Thursday you do the papers in Elgin, and a Friday you go to Macduff, and I go to the school.
It's starting to get kind of vague.
Yeah,
because
all different.
We have a new normal.
And instead of going to the school on a Friday, just before the lockdown, and actually probably about this time last year, they asked if I would go into the nursery, and I do. A bit of whatever they want me to do. Usually it started off as would I come in and sing nursery rhymes. It's now ended up that we share Bible stories and choruses together, and whatever they're having I go in and I help, and it's good to do that. And a Friday I go into assembly and I just chat to the parents, and that's been fantastic. So it's good, and we love our folks here, missing seeing you all like mad. But this past week when we've gone out with the papers, it's been good to catch up with a few of you and just to know how you're doing in the lockdown.
I think one of the highlights of the time that we've had here was when we had an evening for your mum and dad's 50th anniversary of being appointed here.
Yeah.
That just was such an incredible evening to have. There was no great programme planned for it. It was a lot of people coming together, just sitting down talking and then singing choruses. Yes,
and that was good, and I think that was the highlight of everybody's evening.
But to have Elizabeth and Joseph there, and who was the other couple?
I can't remember. Kenny and Hazel.
Your dad did their weddings.
Yeah, and then just various people who were connected to the core or who came in recent days and were just coming along, and it was good for the fellowship. So it's been a quick 4 years, but it's lovely to be in this community, even just to walk around the village today, which was very quiet, I have to say, but just to say hello to everybody and just catch up with how everybody was doing.
So just in case anybody's getting worried, we're not going anywhere. This is not our farewell meeting or anything like that.
We're very much staying.
This is part of our tour that we've been doing over a number of weeks, where we've been looking at our different appointments. And we do have more appointments to come yet. Yeah. And it's not quite Bucky next week.
No, we've got somewhere else to go next week.
I'm trying to do all the appointments in the order that they came, and Bucky was not the next one.
No, it wasn't. So,
Wendy, tune in next week.
Okay, so that's Findochty. And we just look forward to everything that is in store in the next few weeks. Not sure where this lockdown is going. Not sure what it's going to be like any time in the future. So we would ask you to pray that God will give us the direction that we need to take both our core forward in these coming days.
Yeah.
That somehow, because we are reaching so many more people than we ever would normally.
Yeah.
So thank you all for tuning in, and thank you for encouraging us in these days, and just pray that God will give us the direction that we need in these next few weeks, just to decide what God's will is for us here. We are going to sing again, and it's number 362. Okay. Not that these are making any difference tonight, because I can't see the words. Anyway, give me joy in my heart.
Keep me
praising. Okay. No, that's not the key. Give me joy in my heart, keep me praising. Give me joy in my heart, I pray. Give me joy in my heart, keep me praising. Keep me praising till the break of day. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King of Kings. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King. Give me peace in my heart, give me peace. Give me peace in my heart, I pray. Give me peace in my heart, keep me resting. Keep me resting till the break of day. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King of Kings. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King. Give me love in my heart, keep me serving. Give me love in my heart, I pray. Give me love in my heart, keep me serving. Keep me serving till the break of day. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King of Kings. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King.
Yeah. And we even have a joy joining with us this evening, all the way from Thurso.
Yes. So, what has kept you going during lockdown?
What's kept me going?
Yeah, what's kept you going?
I've been busy. I've been very busy. The food bank has kept me going.
Yeah?
And there've been so many calls upon that. The initial stages of going from serving maybe 8 people a week to 80 people a week.
Yeah.
Was just a bit mind-blowing. And then it seems to have levelled out between sort of 50, 60, 65, thereabouts. That seems to have evened out a bit more. So that was a big learning curve on how to actually set out the hall, and there's no chance of us meeting in the hall at Bucky at the moment because it's just surrounded with food. There's food all over the place.
It's in the main hall and in the office.
It is still in the office as well, yeah.
Yeah. So what other things have kept you going in lockdown?
What else has kept me going?
Yeah. If I wound you up too much.
No. Food.
I've taken this thing about baking.
Yes, it's been lovely. Fantastic.
I'm going to go and make those scones when we're finished tonight.
Excellent. Yes, with the original recipe iron brew. 3
ingredient scone mix. Brilliant. If you want the recipe, message me and I'll give it to you. I'll maybe put it up on the page. You're supposed to make them with lemonade, but we've done them with iron brew. Oh, yes. So Erland, it's bake off tonight. I know that you made yours yesterday, but I'm going to make them tonight, I think.
All right.
Maybe tomorrow. No, I've promised you now, so I have to do it tonight.
Thought Bake Off was for next weekend.
Oh, we're having a bake-off next
There's
weekend.
a family
as
Bake
well.
Off next weekend,
Yeah.
yes. Peaches.
Yes. So during lockdown, apart from all the things at the core that have been keeping us going, we've kind of done other things, haven't we? Well,
We've done lots of walking.
done lots of walking. I've been doing knitting, not so much on the cross stitch, but I've been doing knitting and reading.
Yes.
Apart from and the baking, not all at the same time, thankfully. No. But it's been a time where perhaps we've kind of taken time to step back and to think. And one of the things that I've been challenged by, and on a Sunday morning, it's actually been nice to listen to other people's services, and usually through their whatever songs they've had or whatever they're saying, that God has taken me off in another direction. And helped me to kind of think about my own journey with him. I remember at the start Mum saying to me, because Mum's in lockdown, she's shielding, and she said that this was going to be her sabbatical. And perhaps for some of us, that's what it's been. It's been a sabbatical, and it's been time for us maybe to just think about what God has in store for us. Or maybe it's been a time for us to thank God for the things that he's given us. I think there's been a lot of things that we've taken for granted. And when we come out of this, there is no way that life can ever be the same. I think life is going to look differently. And I just wonder if we're ready for that. Sometimes you would like to go back to thinking about what life used to be like, but it's not going to be like that anymore. And there's going to be lots of things that are going to change. But we can be thankful that we serve a God who is unchanging. And one of the things that I was thinking about, and we're going to think about this a little later, was Bruce bought me something. I want to talk about it too much just now, because this is my thought later. And it was overthinking. And one of the things, and I'm going to speak about it a bit later, so I'll let you see what it is a little later. But one of the things was your thankfulness. What are the things that you are thankful for, and the things that God has blessed you with? And so maybe you can think about that this evening. And so it's a cue for a song. Yeah, 909.
Okay.
Count your blessings. Because we've got so much that we can thank God for. And I'm going to elaborate on this a little later. You might want to have a pen and paper ready and think about the things that God has done for you. When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged, thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Okay. When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged, thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will keep singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. So amid the conflict, whether great or small, do not be disheartened, God is over all. Count your many blessings, angels will attend, help and comfort give you till your journey's end. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surpassing what the Lord has done. So we have just got so much to thank God for, so much that he has done for us, and so many things that he does for us day by day. And one or two people did remember that I had said something about this last week. And Elizabeth, who comes to Findochty says that she is thankful for a faithful God, for her family, for her friends, and for the street of lovely neighbours where she is. And she does, she's got a street of beautiful neighbours. And it's a bit like that in Findochty, isn't it? We've got so many people who look out for us and who care for us day by day. Wendy Knott wants to thank God for being able to at long last meet her 1-month-old grandson and to share time with her family. Carwyn, yes. And she's just thankful to God for being able to spend time with the family. And so we thank God for that. Now, Rose, you said you were thankful for that you're a child of God, and you've also said that you've got so many blessings and so many answered prayers. And Rose wanted because he lives. Mm-hmm. So I think we could sing the first verse in the chorus of 219. God sent his son. They called him Jesus. He came to love, heal and forgive. He lived and died to buy my pardon. An empty grave is there to prove my Saviour lives. It's a long time since I played this one, so we'll sing the first verse of the chorus, and there's one or two other blessings coming up. God sent his son, he called him Jesus. He came to love, heal and forgive. He lived and died to buy my pardon. An empty grave is there to prove my Saviour lives. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all fear is gone. Because I know he holds the future, and life is worth the living just because he lives.
Got to sing the second verse.
Okay, for Wendy. I seem to hold, and you obey until the night, and joy he gives, my greatest sin. The calm assurance is trapped on face uncertain days, because he lives, because he lives, I can face tomorrow, because he lives, all fear is gone, because I know he holds the future, and life is worth the living just because he lives. And many other people are sharing blessings with us. Doris Noland in California. Hello, Doris. Hello, Joe. She is thankful to God. It's commissioning. It should be commissioning weekend. And she is thanking God for 55 years as a Salvation Army officer. And Auntie Evelyn, she's thankful that she's with Inga at the moment and blessed because she is with family. And everybody is just saying just the blessings that they are receiving just through being with us this evening. And so we just thank you all for your encouragement to us in this time. I just pray that God will continue to bless you. And you know, if you've got blessings that you want to share, in the coming week, you can drop us a line, drop us a message, and we can have it be like a testimony time in the meeting of the things that you are thankful to God for in this time of lockdown. Agnes Smith, I have to give you a mention, and I'm glad you're behaving. And as we sang that song, you were thankful for remembering the people at Kirkconnell Core. And we just thank God for them, faithful people who were there. And thank God for your ministry that you have.
It was a lovely little place there.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And she's saying a lot of them are with their Saviour. My friend Moira, who is housebound, Moira in Kirkconnell. And so we just thank God for the way that he's blessing us day by day. And we just pray that God will indeed bless you in this coming week. Wilma, I have to mention you. Wilma McEwen is one of our regulars at Macduff, and she's blessed every day in being near to God and near to her children, her grandchildren, and her church family. And it's lovely that you're able to share with us, Wilma. And we look forward to being able to share with you in person in the not too distant future. We're going to share together in our Bible reading for this evening.
The Bible reading for this evening is taken from Galatians chapter 6 and the first 10 verses. It's Galatians chapter 6 and the first 10 verses. Brothers, if someone is caught in a sin, you who are spiritual should restore him gently. But watch yourself, or you also may be tempted. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. If anyone thinks he is something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. Each one should test his own actions. Then he can take pride in himself without comparing himself to anybody else. For each one should carry his own load. Anyone who receives instruction in the word must share all good things with his instructor. Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. The one who sows to please his sinful nature, from that nature will reap destruction. For the one who sows to please the Spirit, from the Spirit will reap eternal life. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers. Amen.
Amen. And so, as I was trying to find a passage of scripture that would fit in with what I wanted to say this evening, and verse 2 of that scripture reading says, carry each other's burdens. And then verse 10, let us do good to all people. It's good to encourage and it's good to help each other along the way. Now, as I said, Bruce bought me this. It does open up into a great big, it's a fun fair kind of thing. Wendy, it's positive psychology, you know. She'll understand about that. Bonny picture of a fair, and half the things I don't like anyway because I'm not really in the fair.
But you like the picture?
I like the picture. I love the picture. And there's just one or two things that's quick wins in this time, and that's what I want to share. You know, we can overthink things. I even overthink when I'm making up a food parcel.
Oh dear, don't you just...
And Bruce will say, don't overthink it, just do it. Because when we overthink things, we become stressed. And I was the one week, I was just about in tears because I think it was right at the start when we couldn't get everything that we needed at Tesco's. They wouldn't let us bulk buy. And I thought, what am I going to do? How am I going to allow these people to have food for however length of time it was? And I was overthinking it. Now I don't overthink it. It's not that I just bung anything in. I do a little bit of thinking. But when we overthink things, we can become stressed. And I just thank God that I'm not in control, but He is. And then sometimes we need to remember that. And so in this overthinking thing that Bruce bought me, there are quick wins, and these are the things that I want to share with you this evening. And we've already been thinking about some of those things. We can be thankful. We can have gratitude for what we have. I am thankful that I've got a roof over my head. I'm thankful that I've got Bruce here. I don't know if that's good or bad, because, I do get overwhelmed some days, and it is hard going. At least he's there to keep me going. But, one of the things that goes back to when Bruce did his psychology, and it's something that we've encouraged people to do, and I'm sure we've encouraged the people at Findochty and Bucky and probably Airdrie to do, is to keep a diary and write down 3 things that you are thankful for every day, 3 blessings that you share. Keep a note of the good things in your life, however big they are or however small they are. And, that can help you to keep your perspective in a good place, your outlook on things. Because so often we can think about the negative and not the positive, and concentrate on the negative. And those are the times when perhaps we can feel down. So keep a notebook, a diary, whatever beside you, and write down things that are good in your life. And even little things that happen. Maybe somebody will send you a card, or somebody will phone you, or just that word of encouragement that you've had from somebody, or somebody's maybe taking some baking round to you. Those things that you are thankful for. So thank God for the things that he's doing for you. Sometimes our perspective on things can be a bit wrong. And we tend to, again, look at the negative rather than the positive. And this suggests that you spend time with people who are probably less fortunate than you are. It is a bit difficult at this time for all of you, perhaps, to do that. But, you turn the TV on, you watch the news, and I'm sure you see there that we are actually a lot better off than a lot of people, and focus on the positive things rather than the negative. And Bruce and I kind of share some of the things that we've done on the lockdown, the distraction, the things that keep you going. One of the things I didn't say was I've always got a jigsaw on the go on the table here. You can't see it, but it's here. And I don't sit at it all the time. Maybe I just come through, fit a few bits. I thought you were helping yesterday because I couldn't figure it. It's one of these ones that you don't know what the picture is. And I had it all, and then I discovered it was in the totally wrong place. And I think you did kind of help point that out to me. So the things that can distract us from thinking negative thoughts, the things that help you in this time, to help you to focus on the good things, like when we go out a walk. Most days it's the same route that we take round the village. Sometimes we venture to Portnocky. Sometimes we venture along the line out towards Portessie. Don't quite go as far as that and back in. But those are the things that help to help us to focus on the good things. And sleep, well, sometimes you can't get to sleep, can you? Because you're overthinking. And so perhaps sleep will come if you try to not overthink the things and think positively. And as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about a story that I had once read, and I'm going to share that with you just now. And it's about a story about 2 men who were seriously ill, and they shared a hospital room. One man, his bed was next to the only window that was in the room. And this man was also allowed to sit up for an hour every day to help drain the fluid from his lungs. But the other man, he had to spend time lying on his back. These 2 men quickly bonded, and they started talking for hours on end. They would talk about their lives, their jobs, their family. And the man who was lying flat on his back all the time told the other man how much he envied him being near the window. And so from that day on, the man who was near the window described all the things that he could see outside the window. And so the things that he said, things like the window overlooked a lovely park with a lake, and there was ducks in the lake, and there was children sailing model yachts. There was young couples who were walking arm in arm amidst the flowers of every colour, and there was a fine view of the city skyline that could be seen from the distance. And then the man who was lying flat on his back, he lived for this 1 hour every day where the man would tell him what was happening on the outside world. And it was trying to build up a picture in his mind and broaden his mind of what was happening, the activity and the colour from the outside world. One afternoon he even told the man that there was a parade passing by and described the parade. And although the man lying flat on his back couldn't hear the band, he could visualise this in his mind. And so the days and the weeks passed by. One morning a nurse arrived to examine the condition of the two patients, and she found the lifeless body of the man by the window. He had peacefully passed away through the night. And so the nurse called for the hospital attendants to come and to take the man away. The other man grieved his roommate because he was missing that hour every day when the other man was describing the view out of the window. And so in the hope to have a peek out of the window, because he was allowed to sit up for an hour, no, it was the other man that was to sit up for an hour, because he wanted to be near the window, he asked if he could be near the window. And so the nurse had said she could move his bed over to the window. And so as the nurse went away, he decided that he would prop himself up and he would have a look at this lovely view that had been described to him. And he strained slowly and he kind of got himself pushed up a bit. And he turned to look out of the window and he was stunned because all he could see was a blank wall outside the window. The man asked the nurse why his roommate would lie about the view that was there. There's nothing to see from here. Where are all the wonderful things that he saw? Because he described everything vividly. Is this a new and a recent wall? Why did he give me such vivid details that don't exist? And the nurse shook her head and answered his question. She said, perhaps he just wanted to encourage you and make you happy. You see, the man that you shared the room with was blind. Perhaps he just wanted to encourage you. And sometimes in life, we can become discouraged, as I have said. But while we are apart, we can still encourage each other. We can still spur each other on. We can still help each other along the way. When we have this time of overthinking and we start to worry, and I just want to share this that I read. I've got a women's study Bible, and my eye just caught this little verse. And I want to share it with you. Worry never empties tomorrow of its sorrow, but it does empty it of its strength. Don't let anyone rob you of your confidence in God. Know His word. Hold on to His hand. He will make your impossible mission possible, and your life so much more than bearable. And so let's encourage each other. Let's help each other along the way. Let's look out for each other. And although for some of us we are many, many miles apart, social media sometimes is a wonderful thing. Sometimes we can see it far enough. But we are able to connect with each other. And so if we can't see each other, let's encourage each other in this way. And let's help each other so that we can bear each other's burdens, help each other along this way. And however much longer we're in this lockdown period, that we will do that and bless each other with the things that we're able to share. A verse that we're going to sing in just a moment, it says, help us to build each other up, our little stock improve, increase our faith, confirm our hope, and perfect us in love. And may that be so for you this evening, that you will help not just the people that we are sharing fellowship with here this evening, but the wider community that we live in, that we will help each other in this time and that we will be a blessing to each other. And we're going to sing those words at this moment. It's song number 815 if you have a songbook. Song 815. Help us to help each other, Lord, each other's cross to bear. Let each his friendly aid afford, and feel his brother's care. There's 3 verses, let's sing them through together. Help us to help each other, Lord, each other's cross to bear. Let as we below. We just thank you all for sharing with us again this evening, and we just pray that God will indeed bless you in these days. And as we do every Sunday evening, we are encouraged to pray at 7 o'clock. The churches together have asked to do that, and we light our candle again and we place it in our window this evening, just to remember everyone that we promised to pray for, everyone perhaps in the world who is suffering, those who need our prayers in a special way. There are times throughout our experience when we sense that we are not in control of what's happening in our world. And there will be occasions when we sense that the wider world is afflicted by the seeming absence of a guiding hand. But the action of God in Jesus is a demonstration of the love of God. We read of that in Romans chapter 5. And as we know ourselves to be powerless and at the same time to be those who have received the renewing and empowering love of God poured into our hearts by the Holy Spirit. And so this evening, as we close this time of worship, we just ask that you'll share together with us in prayer. And so we pray, living God, you demonstrate your love for us through our Lord Jesus Christ. When we are powerless, stand with us in our weakness. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Living God, you demonstrate your love for the world through the self-giving of our Lord Jesus Christ. We remember those who are powerless in our world and stand with them in their weakness. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Living God, as we stand with others, may we understand more fully the life we share in common. May we embrace the richness of the life you gift us. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Living God, your Holy Spirit is the Lord and giver of life. May your love be poured into our hearts and our lives renewed. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Living God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer, embrace us and all creation in the love you demonstrate throughout our lives. Lord Jesus Christ, Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers. Amen. Have a good week. God be with you.
Bless you all.